Tonight on Elon Local News.
Showing support. A Burlington business is collecting donations and making connections with those in Ukraine.
Vying for votes. Voting ends tomorrow for the next group of student government leaders. Who to choose that represents your views and how you can vote.
Baking memory. Campus organizations partnered to share a treasured Jewish tradition.
Those stories and more.
Elon Local News starts now.
Live from the Jane and Brian Williams studio at Elon University School of Communications, you're watching Elon Local News.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Naomi Washington.
And I'm Margaret Faust. You're watching Elon Local News.
All eyes are on the student body president race with less than 24 hours left for students to vote. I spoke with each candidate about their platforms and this year's election. Out of the 52 seats on SGA, the student body president's chair is just one of two that are contested. Elon sophomore Andrew Lim is from Connecticut. He served on SGA for the past 2 years. Lim says the recent reconstruction of the SGA Constitution gives him a chance to make the organization more accessible to students.
This is an opportunity for us to wipe the slate clean and make sure that we are being communicative across the entirety of Elon, and then making sure that we are actually advocating for the issues for the people that we represent.
Lim says he is ready to devote all his time to the position, something he thinks was missing from previous executive presidents.
There's seniors that have been loaded down on a lot of work. They're looking to graduate, some of them doing independent research, all this stuff, and it kind of takes away a little bit from them being able to do their job 110% effectively.
Elon Jr. Nadine Jose is from New Jersey. This year, she served as the School of Communications Senator and as a campus program senator the year before. She says she's been uplifted by the support from her peers on campus who view her as a historic candidate.
Since our student body is predominantly female, just looking at the record of the last 4 presidents we've had, they've all been men, 2 of whom have been named Jack and 3 of whom have been white men. I think it genuinely is a time for a little bit of change at Elon, and I think I'm the right person for it.
Jose says she wants to bring student issues like laundry cost and dining hall hours to senior administrators.
There are small things that senior staff can ameliorate to help aid eliminating those disparities or at least minimizing them. And one thing that I really care about, which might seem minor to a lot of people, is really having free laundry for everyone.
Elon Jr. Chase Solomon is from Maryland. He served as the class of 2023 president for 2 years and was his freshman class senator. Solomon says his top priority is inclusivity on campus, which starts with SGA funds.
It is, in an ideal world, I like bringing up the ideal world scenario. We have elevators in every building, we have walkways whenever we do, but, we have to be realistic in terms of how exactly we allocate our money, and we have to be asking those questions because it is extremely important to include everyone.
Solomon believes he is the best candidate for the student body because he leads with empathy.
I think that in order to really connect with someone and in order to make meaningful change, you need to first have a genuine connection with them and touch their heart.
All 3 candidates say their goal, if elected, is to improve communication between SGA and the student body. Voting ends tomorrow at 5 p.m. and you can cast your vote on Phoenix Connect. All students are eligible to vote, including seniors and those studying abroad. The results are set to be announced live at 6 p.m. outside Lakeside Dining Hall tomorrow. We'll have those results live on our website, elonnewsnetwork.com, and on our social media platforms at Elon News Network.
Russia and Ukraine conduct another round of peace talks today in Istanbul after weekend attacks on Lviv. This as the White House walks back President Biden's declaration that Putin can't stay in power, saying he was not calling for a regime change. From cash and clothing to first aid supplies and food, many Americans are looking for ways they can help those in Ukraine. One Burlington resident is collecting donations to send to Poland, and our Naya Pink City has more.
Burlington residents have been visiting the local Honda dealership recently. not necessarily to buy a car, but rather to bring in strollers, suitcases, sleeping bags, and other everyday essentials. Saleswoman Lisa Edens went from selling cars one day to collecting donations the next. She advertised a supply drive on Facebook and is collecting donations in the Honda lobby.
I have to do something. I can't not do anything. I have to do something. And then I'm like, but I'm just a salesperson.
The aid will be sent to Poland through a partnership with the Ukrainian Association of North Carolina. Her connection with the organization allowed her to meet Galina Karpensky, a Ukrainian elementary music teacher at Triad Math and Science Academy in Greensboro.
She has been amazing advocating for Ukraine in Burlington. Amazing.
Karpensky's family still lives in Ukraine. She's watched her hometown attacked with air raids, and unfortunately, she says what she sees happening in Ukraine today can be compared to World War II.
Too long for United States and other countries to jump in and actually do something about it. It took too long, too many lives. We just choose to look away, we're going to have a history that will just repeat itself.
Karpensky said she is proud to work with Edens, especially as the two continue to collect more donations and spread awareness about the war.
It doesn't just stop here. It's whatever the need be. If these organizations say we're gonna keep doing this, then I'm gonna keep doing it.
Naya Pinksity, Elon Local News.
Edens says the drive at Burlington Honda will continue into April, and she encourages more people to help with aid. Any monetary donations go towards transporting and purchasing tactical supplies for the Ukrainian army.
Today starts our second week without masks required indoors. We talked to students before spring break about lifting the mandate. Some were in agreement they were going to keep theirs on for the first, quote, week or two. Others were more than ready to take them off. We followed up with senior Luna Dunham, who's now choosing to attend class maskless.
It's a decision that I think a lot of people acknowledge, and I think at some point we have to make the decisions ourselves. And I think I'm personally might not judge others, but I would also hope that they don't judge me.
Freshman Mackenzie Smith says she's keeping her mask on since she works with children off campus and wants to prioritize their safety.
I have a bigger purpose behind why I decided to keep it on. If I want to really ensure that the students I work with are safe, and that's part of the reason that I stood with it.
Currently, there are 4 known active cases of COVID-19 on campus.
Looking at numbers off our campus, there are almost 40 patients hospitalized with COVID-19 in the Cone Health system. Of those patients, 25 are unvaccinated and 14 are fully vaccinated. Almost 80% of the intensive care unit is being used, but the number also includes non-COVID-19 patients.
You're watching Elon Local News.
The rising cost of living in the United States is causing many to watch their spending, leaving college students with empty pockets at the gas pumps and grocery stores. Gas prices have dipped down since students have returned from spring break travel, but Elon freshman Daniel Christopher says it's still too expensive.
I drive back and forth from home, so over Easter break, I'll be driving, and those gas prices are going to really be hurting my wallet.
Chair of Finance Department Chris Harris says making conscious decisions like using campus services students have paid for can help them save money.
I'm a little less inclined to go spend $20 to grab dinner because I could have actually eaten using this meal plan that I've already paid for, and maybe I just saved that $20.
But even the cost of a meal plan isn't safe from inflation. Harris says this is because ingredients used in dining halls are becoming more expensive.
Wheat is a primary ingredient in anything, then the cost of that thing we anticipate will be going up, right? So even things like bread, right? I fully expect price of bread, we're going to see that going up considerably. We already have some, and I think that's probably going to continue.
Some of the most common items that college students purchase are affected by inflation. Bread, beer, coffee, and paper products have all seen recent price increases. Looking at the prices for some of these goods in a pre-pandemic year, using stores like Target and Harris Teeter as the price standard, since 2019, toilet paper has increased by about $2. A 24-pack of beer in 2019 cost $16, but at the grocery store now, you'll be paying the same price for a pack of 12. A gallon of milk has also gone up about 50 cents in the last few years, but a cup of coffee has only gone up about 10 cents. Harris says the best way students can save money is to budget for their various expenses. To read the full interview with Chris Harris, grab a copy of this week's Pendulum.
If you're going to be a first-year student in the Fellows Program next fall, your scholarship will increase by $2,000 next year. But current Fellows students won't see any change to their aid package. College Fellows Maria Angelos says she wants the increased scholarship because of the 9% increase in tuition and fees.
We can have up to 50 people in the program, and this year my cohort only has 38 people. So theoretically there should be money that was allotted for that isn't being spent. So like, why don't we get to see any of that?
Angelos says she wishes she would receive the increase since the Fellows Program and the scholarship are one of the reasons she's at Elon.
Elon's newest Dean of Inclusive Student Excellence is set to begin July 5th, and it won't be his first time connecting with the campus. Jonathan McElderry currently works at nearby Wake Forest University. His new role is designed to lead student-run initiatives and advance the inclusive goals in the boldly strategic Elon plan. He says the position felt like a natural next step in his career, and he wants to identify gaps in support for students.
I want to take the time to learn that and figure out just the nuances of Elon, and then I will be able to jump right in with lots of ideas and different ways to engage.
Elon senior Howard Chi was the only student on the search committee and says he noticed one major thing about McElderry after speaking with him.
He was very much like a project-oriented person. He was ready to create programs, and I think that innovative mind was probably what attracted a lot of the students.
McElderry's role will also include him working closely with Randy Williams, the Vice President and Associate Provost for Inclusive Excellence.
Students are one step closer to receiving a new course requirement, and it's unlike any one Elon already has. Approved by Elon's Core Curriculum Office, the course will draw its attention to equity. It can be fulfilled through a major, core capstone, or advanced studies course. Presidential Administrative Fellow Naima Clark says the course is student-driven. She says students have asked for Elon to talk more about race and racism for years.
To add this other piece is huge, and it is adding something that we have never really intentionally added before.
The course still has to be approved by the university's curriculum committee before it is officially required for students.
Baseball is looking to forget this past weekend after losing its third game 5-15 against Hofstra University. Looking ahead, the team has the chance to put the past in the past against neighboring High Point University. After its last Hofstra game, head coach Mike Kennedy said the team will have to focus on the details to break out of its offensive slump.
Things that we do during practice have got to be more game-like. They've got to be more intent-filled and just completely focused.
The first pitch is set for tomorrow night at 6 p.m. at High Point.
It's a North Carolina rivalry headed into next weekend's Final Four games. Duke and UNC Chapel Hill are set to play in New Orleans as part of one of the two Final Four games in this year's March Madness tournament. The Blue Devils beat Arkansas on Saturday, and the Tar Heels beat St. Peter's on Sunday. This will be the first time in history that the two teams will play one another in the NCAA tournament. The Elon's men's basketball team played both Duke and UNC this year, losing to both. This game is set for this Saturday night at 8:49 p.m. and will be Duke coach K's final showdown against their longtime state rival.
Joining us now live under the Oaks with this week's weather ahead is our Betsy Schlehuber.
Betsy, thanks for joining us.
Good evening, everybody. It's a pretty chilly end of the day and a pretty chilly end of the month. Right now it's 56 degrees under the Oaks, and tonight it's supposed to dip down to the low 30s, so please bundle up. Anyway, here is our Phoenix 5-day forecast. We have one more day of coldness and cloudiness tomorrow, but then the warmer temperatures should be back by the middle of the week, ranging from the mid-60s to even the low 70s. There will be a 90% chance of storms on Thursday, but other than that, the rest of the week looks promising for sunshine and warmth, similar to what we saw earlier in the month. That's it for our Phoenix 5-day forecast. Now back to Naomi and Margaret in the studio.
Betsy Schlehuber live under the Oaks tonight.
Thank you, Betsy.
Margaret, it's been cold, and I thought that we were getting our spring temperatures.
Exactly. That wind walking to class this morning, I felt like it was going to push me over or something.
I know. I felt the same way, and it was almost like a slap in the face.
And speaking of slap in the face, that is what everyone is talking about today. And it proves that live television isn't dead. Last night, Will Smith stormed on stage after presenter and comedian Chris Rock made a joke about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who has alopecia. It's an autoimmune disease, and one of the side effects is hair loss. The slap was seen around the world, but what followed you missed at home, but was picked up on international feeds.
Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane joke.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay.
I spoke with local comedian Lady Shamar about what she considers to be a joke and her thoughts on Hollywood's biggest night.
Until this event, I did forget how sensitive topics are and that people have triggers. And we as comedians, we get so much of a pass to say anything, do anything, hurt someone's feelings, and then say, hey, it's comedy. You don't like it? Go home.
The Academy of Motion Pictures tweeted they, quote, don't condone violence of any form, end quote, and have now opened a formal review of the incident. Smith won the award of Best Actor later that night for the performance in the movie King Richard. According to the Los Angeles Police Department, Rock declined to press charges. But local comedian Lady Shamar says that jokes teetering on offensive need to stop, and it will start with her own shows. From now on, Shamar says she will be more conscious of who is in her audience. This is because she believes that diseases and disabilities like alopecia are off limits for jokes.
You're watching Elon Local News.
For centuries, challah has been the centerpiece of a traditional Jewish meal. This weekend's Elon Chabad and the Pan-Hellenic Association teamed up to bake some memories and share Jewish tradition. At the Mega Challah Bake, over 120 sorority women got together to braid and bake challah, a bread consumed often in Jewish culture. Chabad ambassador and Elon senior Lauren Weinberg says she was excited to teach and to process her peers that had never made challah before.
It's a really Jewish school. There's a lot of Jewish kids, so it was really fun to go into each sorority and find every Jew or every Jewish girl that there was to come together and make challah, because it's a really big traditional thing to do in the Jewish community. And I love that Chabad was able to give the place for all these girls to come together and have fun.
Each participant at the event made 2 loaves of challah, one to keep and one to give away to someone in need of a little extra love. Weinberg says she hopes this event will continue to grow each year.
It's been 2 years for some couples, but that walk down the aisle is now in sight. And one Gibsonville photographer is making sure COVID-delayed weddings will always be remembered.
3 kids, chickens, and a pig keep Ashley Bag and Mary very busy, but not so busy that she hasn't taken on more.
It is exhausting. I drink a lot of coffee, a lot of Red Bull.
Here's a snapshot of what she does. Wedding photography, a booming business in 2020 and a bust since the pandemic.
Who could have foreseen any of that, well, I think all of us in the wedding industry, we all started to rethink, what have we done here? We all need to get a backup plan. That was stressful. It was really hard.
Bag of Mary says this business gives her the creative outlet she craves. She says photography is a gift because once the day is over, all you have is a memory.
Locations like here, the Northeast Park in Gibsonville, and the North Carolina Museum of Art are two locations where Bag of Mary takes her clients for engagement and family photo shoots. From the farmhouse to the field, 2022 is proving to be her busiest year yet.
One of Bag of Mary's clients is Erin Bergner. She's marrying her college sweetheart, Trevor, next February. The couple plans to elope in Mexico. They didn't want all the stress that comes with planning a wedding, and photography is one of the easiest parts of their process.
We're not like very much picture people, so it's nice to have something to just like capture the time, so to speak.
All right, so to start with, no, that was really good.
Have pictures and things of that to hang on our walls and keep around for a while.
Bergner says she likes Bag of Mary's work and how she's good at making photo shoots feel natural. Bag of Mary's business is about milestones, taking family photos and maternity pictures.
It is about relationships, you know? People really do value that even more so than the artwork, just how you treated them and how you continue to treat them.
With veils now replacing masks, Bag of Mary's looking forward to less time with chickens and more time with brides. Anne-Marie Bonner, Elon Local News.
Bag of Mary says weddings are the bulk of her work, but she takes photos for hundreds of families every year.
Well, that's all the news we have for you this evening.
For all the news you need to know, visit our website, elonnewsnetwork.com.
And follow us on social media at Elon News Network.
Have a great night, Elon.